Holy shit. Hey, good morning. It's Uncle Shu here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Shu, and I'm live for Shu on ShuTube today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it also, and Shu in addition to that as well. Hey, subscribe to this channel if Shu not already. Did Shu know I post college football videos almost every single day of the year? It's Shu, and some of them are even watchable. Shu can let me know down in the comments below if you think this one is watchable or not. You know, people ask me all the time, Uncle Shu, what's your favorite Tool song? Well, that's easy. 46 and Shu. In all seriousness, though, before we get to the trash talking in the your season overs portion of this video, I do want to congratulate both teams on an amazing game, a great ending. As a college football fan, it's really all you can ask for. See some of these games with a great ending. So shout out to the Florida Gators and shout out to Louisiana State University. LSU kicks the field goal to take the lead, right? Florida gets the ball to go right down the field against a pointless prevent defense that LSU was playing, setting themselves up for a game-tying field goal. Kicker comes out, kicks it, looks like it's going to be good. It starts drifting a little bit. All of a sudden, LSU's looking around going, shoo, that was close. All right, let's get on with the video. Enough joking around. Shoot! All right, your season is overtime. Man, we've got some amazing losers today, don't we? I'm going to recap them for you, let you know who the most amazing losers were yesterday in Week 15 of the 2020 college football season. Then we'll talk about a few teams that won and looked good, maybe some teams that won and looked bad, right? I'll give you the Heisman list. I'll give you the best 4 teams, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on the playoff picture in Ohio State and a potential Southern Cal or Cincinnati or the one-loss Texas A&M, whatever. We'll try to figure it out at the end. But it's not really why most of you are here. Most of you are here for the Your Season is Over list. And I guess we got to start with the Miami Hurricanes. What a disaster and a joke the Miami Hurricanes are. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you got absolutely just, I don't know. I made some jokes about this yesterday. That game was hard to watch. It looked like an NFL team playing a middle school team. It really did. North Carolina set the record for most rushing yards by a running back duo in a single game. I think that 540 between just 2 of their running backs. It was just absolutely unbelievable to watch. Miami got pushed around like they were on roller skates. It was just... I don't know that I've seen a defensive performance that bad by a pretend top 10 team. Hell, I don't know. I honestly don't know if I've ever seen one that bad. It was legitimately hard to watch. But here's the thing. Most people knew Miami was not a very good team. Most people knew that. Not the Miami fans, at least not the idiotic ones like Alonzo. This guy's lost. You can't listen to anything. This guy didn't even watch the game yesterday, okay? This guy makes a halftime video sitting inside of one of these $5 all-you-can-eat restaurants. There was no one in there but him. The guy doesn't even watch the game. And then to make matters worse, he's getting mad at people who are blaming the defense. He said it wasn't the defense's fault. Jesus Christ, Alonzo. Watch some games, buddy. My God, what a disgrace you are. Sit. Sit! That's what I thought. One treat? One treat? Miami got absolutely destroyed. And no one really thought they were that good. Yes, they beat Duke bad last week. Guess who beat Duke bad yesterday? Florida State. Duke is horrible, okay? You had the miracle win over Virginia and who else was it? Virginia Tech. You had that string of games where you beat a bunch of bad teams by less than one touchdown. You got ran off the field by Clemson, who's the only decent team you've played all year. Plus, forget your record. You can watch Miami play and just see that they're not all that good. They're not all that good. So all that crying and whining that Miami fans have been doing for the last 3 weeks about how the ACC screwed them out of a chance at the ACC title by letting Notre Dame in and blah, blah, blah. You don't have any business anywhere near a conference chance. You are a horrible team, Miami. You just are. There are 2 really good teams in the ACC, Notre Dame and Clemson. The rest of those teams just aren't great. They're not. North Carolina is not that good. And look what they did to you yesterday. Look what they did to you. North Carolina lost to Florida State. Okay, well, they got 3 losses. Now you have 2. You're definitely out of the top 10 now. Can you even make a New Year's 6 bowl now? I don't know. I guess it depends what else happens. I don't know. But man, what an abysmal joke Miami is. I can't, and you know what's going to happen too. Signing day is next week. Miami's going to get an average / mediocre recruiting class somewhere in the 15 to 20 range or something like that probably. And they're going to be over the moon, aren't they? Yeah, they are. And then as soon as the season ends on January 10th or 14th, whatever day we end up playing the national title game, if it doesn't get postponed, Miami fans are going to be everywhere you look with the whole "we're back" thing. This is the year. God forbid D'Eriq King announces he's coming back. These people will never shut up about that. Breaking news, D'Eriq King is the best quarterback you've had that anybody can remember. Apparently, he ain't enough. Can he tackle? Can he play defense? Can he drag a running back down? The amount of Miami players that just got ran over yesterday. I mean, just ran over. Unbelievable. Well, y'all are a joke. But yeah, y'all will be back this coming off season with the whole "we're back" thing. You're just a pitiful disgrace of a program. You're a pitiful, pitiful disgrace of a program. You were terrible for the first 40 or 50 years of your existence. You had a pretty good 15-year run where you cheated in every conceivable way, won a few natties with the whole bad boy attitude. That ended in 2001. And since then, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. No major bowl wins in the last 19 years since your last national title. No conference title since joining the ACC 17 years ago. 1 trip to the ACC title game out of 17 years. That is absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. You're the 5th best program in the state of Florida. Forget about teams. Every once in a while you put a decent season together, win 9, 10 games or something. You're about the 5th or 6th best program in the state of Florida. You're an afterthought, okay? You're an afterthought. You don't even have your own stadium. You have to lease one from the Miami Dolphins, an irrelevant NFL team. And it's just a pitiful, sad, decrepit, broke down program. Honestly. Not all Miami fans, not all. And usually when I talk about fans of a team, people are smart enough to know who I'm talking about and who I'm not. Nothing ever applies to all fans. Listen, there's some idiot Georgia fans out there. A lot of people think I'm one of them. So, I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, there's idiots everywhere. But some of these Miami fans that I see around here, mostly ones that live in Columbia, South Carolina, and are from New York, but try to convince people they're lifelong Miami Hurricanes fans, we're not falling for it, sir. People like that, we're tired of hearing about Miami from you. First of all, nothing you say, you didn't even watch the game. The best thing you can do, sir, is go back to wait, never mind. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it because that set too many people off. But the point is, we've heard just about enough. You're nothing but a sideshow at this point. You're the court jester. These people that watch a lot of YouTube, every once in a while they go over to check you out. For a good laugh. That's about it. Your season is over. your life is over. Florida. Boy, I want to hear about Dan Mullen. 12 years, can't win a division. Finally splits a division this year with Georgia. Same record. But let's give credit where credit is due. You know, after 12 years, Dan Mullen can finally claim a co-division title. Then, of course, he gets the tiebreaker because Florida won their Super Bowl this year and beat the almighty Georgia Bulldogs, which, believe me, they love reminding you about. You know, their entire season is made by beating Georgia. That's their goal every year. Anything after that, they don't really care about. So congratulations. You did win your Super Bowl this year. You'll finish after next week. You'll finish with 3 losses because listen, Alabama might beat you by 40. So, yeah, you'll finish with 3 losses. Georgia will finish with 2. It is what it is. It is what it is. Georgia will be ranked ahead of you this week in all the polls. They'll be ranked ahead of you after next week in all the polls. You're 8-2. Georgia's 7-2. After next week, Georgia will be 8-2. You'll be 8-3. Well, will you make a New Year's Six bowl? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. You might. If Texas A&M gets in the playoffs, you might. We'll see. We'll see. None of that matters. Point is, what a humiliating, embarrassing loss. You lost to a 3-win LSU team. The worst defending national champion of all time humbled you in your own house. Your own house. Beats you in the swamp. Drained the swamp? Yeah, LSU drained it. LSU drained it. It's empty now. It's empty. It used to be filled with hopes and dreams. Not anymore. Crushed at the hand of the corn dog. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? Marco Wilson throws the shoe. One of the biggest boneheaded moves. Seen a lot of comparisons made to the Egg Bowl last year. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, when I think it was Elijah Moore scored a touchdown late in the game. A huge play. And then he got flagged for excessive celebration when he got on all fours and lifted his leg up, sort of making fun of the Mississippi State mascot, pretending to pee on the field type thing. Pretty much cost him the game. Here's the thing. That game really didn't mean anything. Both those teams were terrible last year, right? That's why they both fired their coaches and hired new ones this year. So yes, something happened at the end of that game, a penalty that cost the team the game, but the stakes weren't nearly as high as this one. Man, the stakes weren't nearly as high. Playoff hopes, SEC title hopes, Heisman hopes, all down the drain. Now, you can't really blame Marco Wilson for the Heisman hopes being down the drain. Well, you got to blame Kyle Trash for that. Kyle Trash came out and laid an absolute egg on national television. On national television. In front of God and everybody. 3 turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, overthrows. I mean, by far the worst game he's played this year. So his Heisman hopes and dreams are down the toilet, just like Florida's season. Alabama might be. Here's what I want to know. What's the Florida fan going to say when the Florida man, Dan Mullen, shows up in Atlanta next week to take on Alabama and gets beat worse than Jim McElwain did in his 2 trips to Atlanta? Then what is the Florida fan going to say about the Florida man? That's what I want to know. All I heard about McElwain was, yeah, he won the East twice, but look what happened when he showed up in Atlanta. He got absolutely humiliated by Alabama, which is true. He did. You played Alabama 2 years in a row, McElwain did, which, by the way, McElwain won the division 66% of his time as a head coach in the SEC. Dan Mullen has now won his division once in 12 years. McElwain is better. But anyway, so McElwain did play Bama twice in a row in the SEC title game, 15 and 16, I believe it was. And in those 2 games combined, Florida had 0 rushing yards. It was clear from the opening kickoff of those games that Florida did not even belong on the same field with Alabama. And that's all we've heard from the Florida fan, is that that's not going to happen with the Florida man, Dan Mullen. Well, we're going to find out this Saturday. But what you going to say, Florida fan, when Mullen slides a plastic plate out onto the 50-yard line and shits on it for 4 quarters, and you get absolutely blown out? What are you going to say then? What sort of excuses will you invent to make up about Dan Mullen then? 13 years, 0 SEC titles, and you're no closer now than he was at Mississippi State. You're a mile away. A mile away. Kirby won the SEC title in his 2nd year ever as a head coach. Dan Mullen's been around since the iPhone 1 and has a grand total of 0 SEC titles. Type your excuses down below, and congratulations on winning your Super Bowl against the worst Georgia team in the last 4 years. Hooray! Moving right along. Mizzou, you got humiliated by my Georgia Bulldogs. This is the Georgia offense I have been wanting to see since Aaron Murray left. I'm not lying. And I don't care. Listen, I spent all last week giving Miami credit for a win over Duke. I know Duke's a terrible team, but I kept telling people, if you play a terrible team, all you can do is go out and dominate them. Give Miami some credit. They played a few bad teams and barely beat them, and we ragged them. Now they play a bad team. They beat them 45-0. You got to give them some credit. Is Missouri great? No, but they might be the 5th or 6th best team in the SEC. I mean, just look at the records. Look at the other teams. They've been on a little bit of a streak here lately. Georgia absolutely dominated. Started off a little slow. Well, started off great. Second quarter was a little bumpy for Georgia. But halftime, we came out in the third quarter. We had the ball 4 times in the third quarter. Scored touchdowns on all 4 possessions. Ended this game with 300 passing, over 300 rushing. That's the Georgia people have been wanting to see, at least me, have been wanting to see since Aaron Murray left. We could do whatever we wanted yesterday. We had a running back, 2 running backs over 100 yards. One of them averaged 10.5 yards per carry. One of them averaged 7.5 yards per carry. We had 3 other running backs that averaged over 6 yards per carry. Our 7th string running back had over 100 yards. And JT Daniels hit George Pickens all day long, hit Darnell Washington a few times, Jermaine Burton, Kyrus Jackson, on and on and on. We did literally whatever we wanted. A balanced offense, a quarterback that can stretch the defense, which forces the defense not to be able to just commit to the run over and over and over, which is what teams have been doing to Georgia since Kirby got there. This is the offense Georgia fans have been waiting to see. Will it last? I don't know. I have no idea. We're supposed to play Vandy this coming week. Would that game be played? I would put the odds at 50%. I don't see I don't know why Vandy wants to play that game. I want to play it because I just want to see more JT Daniels. I want this offense to continue to sort of move forward for some momentum heading into the offseason. And then clearly, we need JT Daniels to come back. We need JT Daniels to come back. I'm as excited about Brock Vandagriff as the next guy is, okay? We need JT Daniels. Brock Vandagriff is a coin flip. Why? Every player is a coin flip. There are no guarantees. I know for a fact JT Daniels can go out and throw us to a win if he needs to. I've seen it in the Mississippi State game, and I've seen the way he's played in the last 2 games. I am supremely comfortable and confident in a Georgia offense next year with JT Daniels at quarterback. If he leaves, is it possible Brock Vandagriff shows up and he's amazing from day one? Yes, it's possible. We've seen it a handful of times in college football over the last 150 years. Not very many. Not very many. As good as Trevor Lawrence is, he did not start game 1. He wasn't the starter until game 5 his freshman year. As good as Tua was, he didn't start a single game his freshman year. Bo Nix started. You do have some examples. You got Jake Fromm. Now, he didn't. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, the point is, we need JT Daniels to come back. And if he does, Georgia will be a top 5 team heading into next year, legitimately so. And they'll have a chance week 1 against Clemson. Now, Clemson's a loaded team every single year with NFL players all over the field on both sides of the ball. But so is Georgia. It will be a good game. But if JT Daniels comes back with the pieces he'll have around him, we'll get all the receivers back. Kyrus Jackson, George Pickens, Jermaine Burton, Dominic Blaylock will be back from his knee surgery. Darnell Washington's a true freshman tight end. He'll be back. Offensive line was sort of a mismatch unit this year. Most of them will be back. Defense will probably lose several players to the NFL, but we've recruited great on that side of the ball. And most Georgia fans who know anything at all aren't all that worried about a Georgia defense. Well, ever, to be honest. But we need JT Daniels to come back. But a great game by Georgia. Missouri's not a great team. I'm not trying to convince anybody they are, but we absolutely blew them out. And Michigan, you had to be on this list too. Listen, LSU, shout out again, by the way, to Louisiana State University. had 18 scholarship players available for this game on defense. 18. They had a total of like 55 scholarship players available for this game. They showed up and they played the game. In fact, they won the damn game. I'm not here to diminish the seriousness, the effect, the impact, whatever of COVID-19 coronavirus. I know that it's serious. And I know a lot of teams have canceled / postponed games this year. But I still 100% believe that if the roles were reversed, if Michigan was 5-0 and needed a 6th game, they would have looked for a way to play the game with 50 or 55 players instead of looking for a way not to play it. I'm not saying they canceled on purpose to sabotage Ohio State just because it was Ohio State. I'm not saying they made any of this up about coronavirus. I'm just saying, look around the world of college football. There are some teams who still have things to play for. Those teams are willing to play almost no matter what. If you don't have anything to play for, Michigan, you're liable not to play if you get a coronavirus situation. So I put you on this your season is over list because I saw too many teams. Vandy got absolutely destroyed yesterday with 45 scholarship players and a Trevor Lawrence field goal kicker. But they played the game. The ones that were healthy and could play. You have to respect that. Again, I don't knock the decision that Michigan made necessarily. But we need to understand that if they were 5-0, they would have found a way to play instead of finding a way not to. So you ended up on this list. Plus, Jim Harbaugh is just a joke and a disgrace. So, honestly, I could put him on this list every single week. Wouldn't bother me one bit. But there you go. Those are your 4 teams. Season is over. A lot of you guys have been on this list multiple times. In fact, all of you have been on here multiple times. What an amazing list of losers. God. Colorado is eliminated. They were undefeated. I don't think anybody ever really gave any serious consideration to an undefeated Colorado getting into the playoffs. But the point is, they were an undefeated Power 5 team. Not anymore. They lost yesterday to Utah, who I think was 2-2 or something. 38-21. Georgia Tech, I made a video on that one. Humiliated by Pittsburgh at home, 34-20. Jeff Collins, giant baby at midfield after the game. I'm taking my Pokemon card and I'm going home. Couldn't even be bothered to shake the other coach's hand, Pat Narduzzi, whatever. Not a good look for the nerd. You get beat at home, and then you got no sportsmanship on top of that. Just a joke of a coach, Jeff Collins. Which is why you're at Georgia Tech. They're a joke of a program, but yeah, you lost again. No one's surprised. Arizona and Arizona State. Arizona beat Arizona State. Is this right? This can't be right. 70-7. My God. No, Arizona State won. I'm sorry. Arizona lost. Kevin Sumlin fired. Who didn't see this coming? Good luck finding a job anywhere near the Power 5, at least as a head coach, Kevin Sumlin. You crap to bed year in and year out at Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel was I don't know if there's ever been a coach that has floated along so high on the tails of one player as Kevin Sumlin. You had Johnny Manziel. They won a couple of miraculous games, never won a division or anything of meaning or note. But people were excited, oh my God, look at this, Kevin Sumlin and Johnny Manziel. And didn't they beat Alabama one year or something? What a joke of a coach. Texas A&M fires and bring Jimbo Fisher in. How's that working out? Well, they're staring down the barrel of a playoff spot this year in Jimbo's 3rd year. Or is it his 2nd year? Whatever, doesn't matter. You go out to Arizona and you have 70-7. My God, you deserve to be fired. I don't know where you're going to land. Walmart greeter, maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't. UCLA lost to Southern Cal. Now, they are still undefeated in the Pac-12. And I want Southern Cal's 5-0, right? Ohio State's 5-0. I don't hear any talk about Southern Cal getting in the playoffs. I freely admit I think Ohio State is better. I'm just curious how they're going to how the playoff committee will draw the line between an Ohio State team and a Southern Cal team. I'm curious. Ohio State does have a better win with that Indiana win. than Southern Cal does. And the eye test tells you that Ohio State is better. Just interesting to me that there's a big push to get Ohio State in, a Power 5 team at 5-0, likely to be 6-0 with a Big Ten title. But you don't hear so much as the word boo about Southern Cal, also a Power 5 team, also a household name, Southern Cal. I mean, they've been down lately, but Southern Cal is one of the most, they're one of the top 10 most recognizable names in the history of college football, right? Would anybody deny that? One of the 10 most recognizable names, right? Southern Cal, big boy program, 5-0, likely to be 6-0. They play, I think, Colorado for the Pac-12 title. You don't hear anything about it. But anyway, they beat something called UCLA 43-38. Wisconsin lost again, 28-27 to Iowa. What happened? Remember way back when the Big Ten started the season and Wisconsin's quarterback came out and went like 28 of 30 or whatever it was for 300-something yards and a bunch of touchdowns, and idiots like me couldn't believe it? It seems like forever ago. Maryland lost to Rutgers? Oh, well, Rutgers has a real coach. That's right. Rutgers has a real coach. Forgot about that. Greg Schiano. Man, Tennessee couldn't be bothered to him. Nope, didn't need him. Last thing Tennessee needs is a real coach. They need Jerome Pruitt. Hey, Tennessee fans, Jerome Pruitt's not getting fired. I've been telling you this all year. I'm telling you that now. I'm going to tell you that this coming Saturday when you get bent over by Texas A&M and they beat you by 30. It is what it is. You're stuck with Jerome Pruitt. I mean, what do you want to do? Keep firing? You want to keep firing a bad coach every 3 years just to hire a worse coach? I mean, that's what you did. I don't know if you've come to this realization yet, but Butch Jones is better than Jerome Pruitt. That's just the facts of the matter. That's just facts. You're stuck with Jerome Pruitt. Cry about it. On top of that, you became the first Power 5 school in history to get scored on by a girl. And it didn't happen once. It happened twice. You let that girl score on you twice. Shout out to Jerome Pruitt. What a disgrace he is. What a damn joke. You didn't need Greg Schiano, though. Didn't need him. Meanwhile, he's at Rutgers winning games. Nebraska lost again, 24-17 to Minnesota. Navy lost 15-0 to Army. No hate for Navy. I did pick Army to win the game, and Army won the game. I mean, they've been a 10-win team multiple times the last couple of years. They've got a better defense, I think, than Navy. They're just a better team. I'm not surprised they won the game. It's 15-0. The Army-Navy game is what it is. No one wants to talk any trash about the Army-Navy game, not even me. So shout out to both teams there. Vandy, Tennessee, yeah, who cares? Auburn found a way to beat Mississippi State. This is a minor miracle, 24-10. Shout out to the Barner. Bo Nix for Heisman next year still. Can the Barners let me know? Is Bo Nix still winning 3 Heismans and 3 national titles? I need to know. I guess technically he can because this year doesn't count against his eligibility, so he's still got 3 more years of eligibility. Whatever he's got. What does he have left? I guess it's 3 years of eligibility. My God. Bo Nix. Terrible. Gus Malzahn not getting fired either. This is hilarious to me. The Auburn man, the Voltard man. This time every single year they want their coach fired. Every single year. There was people, Jeremy Pruitt's first year at this time wanted him fired. Every year. Gus Malzahn will be the coach of Auburn in 2021. Cry. Jeremy Pruitt will be the coach of Tennessee in 2021. Cry. Get a security blanket. Hide in a rubber room. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you have to do, Barner. Whatever you got to do, Voltard. Those coaches aren't going anywhere. Those coaches aren't going anywhere. My God. You're stuck with them. Who would take those 2 jobs? Those are JV jobs. Auburn and Tennessee. Nobody wants those jobs. 9 people turned the Tennessee job down just so you could get Jeremy Pruitt. What, you hire Pruitt? Who is it you think you're going to get? No one's coming there. My God. Jesus. Remember when Tennessee was the recruiting champions of the world in the offseason? Remember they kept bragging? They were ranked like 5th or something in recruiting back in May or June. They didn't know how to act. They don't know how recruiting works. I kept telling them, look, you've already got 25 commits. All these other teams only have 5 or 6. You're going to finish around 20. They didn't want to hear it. Now, guess what? Signing day coming up this week. I'll be live Wednesday morning on the 2nd channel, by the way, for signing day from 8 till lunchtime or so. Check it out, 2nd channel, Uncle Lou on YouTube. You're going to finish around 20th. All those other teams who had 5 or 6 commits, now have 20 to 25 just like you. They're all way ahead of you. You're like 15th now or something. And still the teams behind you have room. You don't. You don't. If anything, you're going to lose good players because you're an absolute disaster of a program. My God. The best Tennessee fan can hope for is that they fire Chaney. And I don't even know if that's going to happen, to be honest. I don't even know if that's going to happen, but that's probably the best. That's probably the closest you're going to get to anything to brag about when the season ends. The joke, Tennessee. These fans are brain dead, man. Brain dead. Who's the best teams? Alabama's winning the national title. I know over the next week or so, we are going to argue nonstop about the playoffs, particularly who should be the fourth team. Do you really think it matters who the fourth team is to get in the playoffs? I'm dead serious. Alabama's going to be the 1 seed, okay? That means the 4 seed has to play them. Do you really think Texas A&M, should they get the 4 seed, has a chance against Bama? Even Ohio State. I don't see it. I don't see it. If it's somehow Clemson, no, I'm sorry. I think Alabama's better than you too this year. Notre Dame, no. So we can argue and carry on, but Alabama's clearly the best team, okay? Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State. I think those are the next 3 best teams. I don't know what's going to happen with Ohio State, though. I'm an SEC homer. I look at somebody like Texas A&M and say, my God, 10-1 or 9-1 in a 10 SEC game schedule. That's impressive. That's impressive. 9-1 with a win over Florida. I mean, their only loss was to Bama, but they got blown out, and that could hurt Texas A&M. That could hurt them. Do I think Ohio State's better than Texas A&M? Yes, but at some point, you have to risk. You got to risk it, right? You've played 5 games. I don't know. Texas A&M has played 9s right now, 10 after next week when they beat Tennessee. It's a hard. I think Ohio State is one of the best 4 teams. It's hard to make a legitimate case for them to get in the playoffs, though. It really is. It just seems like you're basically telling Texas A&M you wasted your time playing those games. What was the point? You should have just played 5 or 6 yourself. You know, maybe Texas A&M should have skipped the Alabama game. Is that the message that we're sending? If everyone would have played 5, 6, 7, even 8 games or something like that, and Ohio State ends up 6-0, and you got teams that maybe played 8. Okay, you're going to have teams that have played 10, 11, and 12 games in some cases. Some undefeated teams like Cincinnati. Coastal Carolina is going to be 11-0. I'm not saying they deserve to get in the playoffs. They don't deserve to get in the playoffs in any year, in my opinion. But the point I'm making is it makes it very hard to try to argue for Ohio State when you've got these other contending teams that have played 9, 10, 11, in some cases 12 games. You got some teams that played 11 regular season games in a conference title game will make it 12. It's hard to argue that. But that being said, they might still get in. The committee can do whatever they want. The only real guideline or rule that the committee has, or mandate, whatever you want to call it, is to put the best 4 teams in the playoffs. The debate is how you determine the best 4 teams. Eye test, watching hundreds of college football games this year, it's Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. I think those are the 4 best teams. But it's a hard case to make for Ohio State. It is, with 5 games fixing to be 6. It's a hard case to make. We'll see. We'll see. But those are the best teams. Heisman Trophy. Well, Kyle Trask, scratch him off the list. He's likely to have another bad game next week, so scratch him off. My opinion, you're down to Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields on the outside looking in versus Mac Jones. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith might be the best player and the most important player to a team in all of college football, particularly with the Jalen Waddle injury. When he went down, Devonta Smith really had to step up. Every single game, it seems like this guy's catching, 10 or more passes. I know he's not, but this is what it seems like. Over 100 yards, 2, 3 touchdowns. The guy is uncoverable. He catches anything you throw to him. If you're looking for like an MVP, most valuable player to their team, Devonta Smith is probably the most valuable player to Alabama. You take Devonta Smith off Alabama, especially without Jalen Waddle because of the injury. Alabama's not the same team. They're still really good. They got plenty of other weapons. But my God, he is something. And I guess maybe you can make that same argument for Kyle Pitts. But the problem is he's like one of these NBA players that plays reduced minutes. You don't know whether this guy's playing from week to week. Didn't play yesterday. Maybe he'll play next week. I don't know. So scratch him off the list. It's Mac Jones, Devonta Smith, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. One of those four people is winning the Heisman. It's generally a quarterback award, which would give the edge to Mac Jones, in my opinion. Justin Fields will have only played 5 or 6 games. Trevor Lawrence missed a couple of games, and I don't think he's had as good of a season as Mac Jones. Honestly, I just don't. I think he's better. I think Trevor Lawrence is still going to be the first player taken in the draft. Justin Fields will be the second quarterback anyway. Those will be his first 2 quarterbacks, but I think Devonta Smith at the very least deserves an invite. Well, there is no ceremony. It's a virtual ceremony. He should be a finalist. However they're doing it. Devonta Smith should be a finalist. Should probably have 4 finalists. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Devonta Smith. One of those people win the Heisman. Anyway, one more week of college football. Conference championship next Saturday. Normally, that's all we have is the conference championship games. But, of course, this year, because of the coronavirus and some rescheduling and shuffling around and things like that and makeup games, got a whole bunch of games scheduled for next week. We'll see how many of them end up getting played. Every week that goes by now, you've got 10, 15, 20 games getting canceled. You had more games this past weekend get canceled like hour before the kickoff, that kind of thing. So we'll see. Georgia's supposed to play Vandy in a makeup game. See if Vandy wants to play it. Georgia will play. Georgia's not going to back out. They've somehow managed to get through this year so far relatively scot-free in terms of the coronavirus thing. I don't see that changing now. We'll see what Vandy wants to do. Like I said, I hope we play the game. I'd like to see JT play again. JT Daniels Christ. He needs to come back. He needs to come back. We got Clemson week 1 next year. I mean, we'll beat them regardless. We own Clemson. Clemson's 18-42 against Georgia all the time. 18-42. My God. Think about this. We own Clemson worse than we own Auburn. That's pretty sad. Have a good morning.